Hi guys, it's me again, and today I would like to discuss how to breed your gerbil. This video includes how to breed them and raise the pups. Now, whether it's an accidental litter or you're purposely breeding your gerbils, it's very important to know what to do. So, when you buy your gerbils, make sure that your gerbil breeding pair is healthy and they're not sick. You don't want to breed sick gerbils. Also, make sure that the female is at least 6 months old, because if she's any younger, she'll probably have some hard time raising her young. When you bring your gerbils home, don't introduce them to each other right away. Make sure that they have at least like a week before you introduce them to each other, just so they can get used to their new surroundings and they don't get stressed out and all that. And about your gerbil breeding pair, don't let them know any other gerbils. Don't let them sniff anyone else, no other animals, because you just want them to know each other. They might fight if they know other gerbils. They might get aggressive. And when the time comes that you decide to bond your gerbils together, put them in a place that they've never been before, like a bathtub free of chemicals, of course, or set up a playpen and let them roam around in there. But get a glove ready and a towel, because they probably will fight, and when gerbils fight, they fight to the death, and it can be very bad. So when they fight, you have to separate them by throwing a towel over their head, or using the hand with the one hand that you have the glove on and separate them, because they probably will bite you while they're fighting, because they can be vicious. So just be very careful, please. And one way to get them used to each other is by giving them treats, little bits of treats here and there, because they'll get that distracted from each other and they'll get used to each other. Not too many treats. And never let your gerbils unsupervised while you're bonding them, because they might fight, a fight break out when you're least expecting it, and you don't want that to happen. Bonding might take days, weeks, or even years. No, not years. What am I thinking? But once your gerbils have bonded together and you're for sure they will not fight, you can put them together in the same tank, but don't expect them to breed right away. You can't force breed your gerbils. It doesn't work that way. But when they do breed, it will last for about 4 hours, and it'll probably happen toward the nighttime. She might not be pregnant the first time around, just they might breed again about 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, or whenever she's in heat. But once they have bred, mark your calendar, because in about 22 to 28 days, she'll be having her pups. Also, in this time period, you want to make sure that she has plenty of food and fresh water all the time, and you want to give her 16% more protein in her diet. Dried mealworms are good. Alive mealworms are good too. 2 mealworms is just fine, because if they have too many mealworms, it can make them sick. They might die. But when she's pregnant, she probably won't show much around the first 2 weeks, but when she does show, it'll be very fast, and she'll be like skinny one day, and the next day she'll be like gaining weight, like a lot of weight. But gerbils are usually not that heavy when they're pregnant. And when she's pregnant, of course, be very careful with her. Don't stress her out too much. Gerbils can have up to 12 to 13 babies, possibly more, and the least amount of babies would be, of course, just 1. When she's like 20 days pregnant, I would definitely clean their tank and put a little bit of bedding in there, not much at all, just enough to cover the floor of the tank up, because you don't want the babies to be buried underneath it. Also, switch to a water bottle, because water bowls, the pups might drown in them, or they could be crushed underneath anything heavy. So get rid of anything heavy in the tank. And when she has her litter, it will usually happen early in the morning. She will stretch a lot. Dad will also be kicked out of the nest too. It could take 3 hours for her to have all her babies, maybe 4 hours. And the best thing to do is just not bother her. Make sure she's in a quiet place. You don't want to stress her out at all. But after she has her pups, they will breed again, almost right away. But I would keep the male in the tank with her, because he will help her take care of the pups. She probably won't have that many pups the first time around, maybe 6 or 7 pups, but the next time around she'll definitely have more. The best thing to do is not bother her or the pups at all until they are at least 2 weeks old. But around day 3 or 4, the pup's ears will pop open from their head, and when they're a week old, their fur will start to come in. They'll become very active around that time too. And when they're 2 weeks old, they'll start gnawing on food. So don't give your gerbils anything treat-wise, because the babies might get a hold of it, and they shouldn't have anything to eat but mama's milk and the regular gerbil food. Also, when they're 2 weeks old, they'll want to start chewing on stuff. So give them small, simple wooden chew sticks, nothing too heavy. They might also try to start drinking water. So what you could do is put a small little tiny water bowl in their tank, but always make sure it is fresh. You can start telling their genders around 2 weeks old as well. When they're about 18 days old, their eyes will pop open. Usually the gerbil that has the eyes open first will probably be the oldest gerbil. Probably means that they're the oldest. The last one with the eyes open is probably the youngest. And if your gerbils knock over their wheel all the time, that's just really dangerous. So what I would do is either not have the wheel in there or just hang the wheel from the ceiling like I did. Just make sure it's stable and it won't fall. You can start to hold them around 2 weeks. I wouldn't hold them too much though, because mama might get a little upset, and they still can't keep their body heat in too. They might get cold. But when you do hold your pups, make sure your hands don't smell like anything. Rub your hands in the bedding so you get your scent on your hand. Their scent on your hand, I mean. And then you can gently hold them, but not for too long. And I would hold them over the tank really close to the ground, because they will be very squirmy, a lot more squirmier than adult gerbil, and they might just kind of jump right out. And when they're 4 weeks old, they are weaned from mama, and they can be separated, but I would wait another week. But once they're 5 weeks, I would definitely separate the males from the females, because at 4 weeks old they do mature. Just keep an eye on them. Hello. Also, after they are weaned, mama might have her second litter any time from that day, because while she is nursing, she will not have her pups in 22 to 28 days. It could take up to 40-something days. But once the pups are about 3 months old, you can start to give them things like treats and stuff like that. That's about all. Keep a lookout for weekly updates and more. Please comment, rate, and subscribe.